Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me today, where I peel back the curtain of my creative process. Today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be finishing up some of these flowers, or at least we're going to be moving forward. I'm going to be accentuating the edges of these flowers. I'll show you how I do that. And what we're looking at right now is some work that I've been doing over the last several days. I've created a background, basically a color field. In this case, for my florals, I do like to have a neutral background. That way the flower color pops. I've tried it with other colored backgrounds, but it seems like these neutral backgrounds are just the best for what I do in my practice. So, this is going to probably take about maybe a half hour to create. I also have a few smaller versions here. I do these small ones for my Etsy shop. These will be probably done today as well. I mentioned the other day, I like to try to make the scale of the larger paintings and the small paintings seem similar, so that way if you were to see an image of this side by side with that, and that was shrunken down and they were both proportional, they would look very similar in terms of floral proportions. Well, anyway, let me get started on some of these things. And as usual, I'm not sure how much of the talking I'll be doing, but I do plan on doing some talking. And in the meantime, let me go ahead and get started. What I've done here is I've made a mix already. This is a pre-mix I've made with a burnt umber and a glazing gel. This seems to be it works great for what I do. And what I'm about to do now is I'm going to be putting this material or this mix into the edge or onto the edge of each of the florals, each of the flowers there. And what that will do is it'll actually push the color out. Actually, it'll help separate the color from the background, even though you would think you don't need to do that much. It really increases the visual power of the paintings. It tends to look more like a stained glass piece at that point, although that is not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to recreate stained glass. I've just been told that many times that it has a stained glass look. So, and I get it, and I see it, and so let me get started. Again, this is probably going to take a half hour. I will be putting up short versions of this video, and yesterday's video as well. I'll be putting those up probably over the weekend. That way, if you don't have time to watch this whole video, you can watch the snippets as well. So without any further ado, let me get started. As I said, this is a glaze, so it's going to take it's acrylic, but it'll take about a half hour to 45 minutes to get a nice solid drying, and actually it'll take probably a full night to fully dry. But that's what we got going on here. And just pushing that material or the gel into the crevice the crevice of the flower. And as you know, I like to kind of clean as I go. Although I come back and clean everything later too. I just like to get a basic idea of how it's going to look once it's complete. All right. And there's going to be another step after this. After I'm done with this portion of what I'm doing now, I'll be coming back in to the flower and I'll work on the inside. What I'm doing right now is I'm working on the outside, making the edge dark, and it's bleeding this way, actually, going this way, so that there's kind of a gradient happening along this line. And I'll do the same thing on the inside of the flower using the ground color and I'll accentuate that color, and I'll make it kind of darker on the edges and pull it lighter towards the middle. That way it has a kind of a glowing effect happening, which is sort of what I'm looking for. I do like that glowy look of that pure color. Just, to me, it just is pretty exciting to look at. And you're probably, the elephant in the room, if you're just joining me, is the flowers here are pretty much floating in the air. I have a solve for that. I have a fix for that. I will be drawing some stems also. I'm not sure if I'll be doing that live, because it's, I don't know how interesting it is to watch me draw stems, but let me know if you'd like to see that in the future. I may have done that on some other videos. Not quite sure. All right, one flower down. You know, I think I might add a little bit of that raw umber to my mix here. I think it's a little light. I'm looking literally just for a tiny little drop. Kind of a half drop is all I needed. And let me get close a little bit here. This is the stuff right here. And yeah, it takes a while for it to dry, which is what I'm looking for. Because I like to put, as you're seeing, I like to push it on the canvas. I like to move it around, and to me it's just got a very pleasing effect. Looking for a clean spot on this paper towel. All right, moving along. Alright, moving along. I apologize for not talking much right now. I don't know what else to say at this point. I'm kind of in a focus right now. I'm sure if you were to go back and look at all this in time lapse or in fast forward mode, it would probably be a lot more interesting to see it come together. My guess, but I don't know. So my plans for this channel, alongside with actually watching me work in the studio, I plan on actually showing you a little bit more of where I came from, artistically speaking, how I got to this point. This was definitely not something I just started and all of a sudden I was doing it just like this. I got to this point. It took me a lot of repetition, a lot of trial and error, and yeah, a lot of trial and error. You know, the hallmarks of being an artist. You try things, you fail at things, and you succeed at things. And so seeing where an artist came from can be important. So I do plan on trying to show you some of my older works. I do have some older works from some for like maybe 10 years ago. Just because I don't do the style anymore, I've done a lot of series of art, and some series have lasted, such as these cutouts. Some of my billboard series, some of you may know my billboard series, which are more of a collage of imagery from pop culture, where I kind of recontextualize it. And so yeah, and my other third actual series that went for a long time was called my mixed tape series, where back in the older days when I used to work, I used to tape off my edges here all the way around my painting, just because I would want to create the shape of the painting, and that way when I pulled the tape off, it was a nice crisp image. And I used to take those pieces of tape and create new paintings with those tapes, and I called them mixed tapes, and I did hundreds of those. And I have maybe about 3, I don't know how many I have. I got about 5 of those on hand, just because I don't do them anymore. I don't work with tape anymore. I've evolved as an artist. I've changed my practice. Part of my practice was create less waste in the studio. How can I do that, or how can I repurpose things in the studio? So as I evolve from one style to the next, that's what happens. You evolve and you don't use tape anymore. I don't use tape anymore. So, but regardless, I definitely would like to show you a little bit more of a retrospective of where I came from. As I mentioned, I do have some older pieces still in my possession, and one of these days, in the next month or so, I may have a friend over, and I'll just kind of go through them real quick, and I'll show you some of these images. I'll talk about what I was thinking about during that period, and what the paintings mean to me at this point. And yeah, I think it might be pretty interesting, and I would love to hear input at that point too. So, hey there, Cousin Jackie, how are you? Let me say hi here. Thank you for joining me. I'm painting here. Trying to do a slight tutorial almost. I'm not sure if it's a tutorial. I'm not sure what you would call what I'm doing. It really is just more of an unveiling of what I do. Just because for many years I worked sort of, I don't want to say in secret, but I definitely kept a lot of my practices to myself, and I don't feel as privacy driven as much anymore. So part of what this channel will be is showing what I do, how I do it, and why I do it even. If you have questions about why I do certain things, I would definitely love to answer that. All right. And tomorrow or the next day, I'm not sure. Next time I come on live, I'll bring the camera up close so you can see what's going on up here. The painting will be a lot more developed by that point. I don't think I'll be doing that today because I'm trying to keep these videos short, and I'm about halfway done, and I'm thinking I'm about 10 minutes into this is what I'm guessing. Let me see what my time is here. It's about that, I guess. It doesn't tell me. I don't have a good grasp over my technology here. I'm assuming it's about 10 minutes into the video. I have about maybe 10 more minutes before I'm done for this portion of the day. And for those of you who know my dog, Bowie, he is in rare form today. He's usually right here watching me. He's on the couch, just watching me paint very faithfully. But the last 2 months or so, he's been hopping back in bed, taking naps in the afternoon. It's kind of nice, kind of nice because that's what dogs should be doing. They should be taking naps. And for those of you who know, he's usually pretty much always by my side. He's not right now. He's in bed. He's laying down. So, good for him. Alright, I just made some blemishes here. You probably can see I just kind of smeared the paint a little bit too much over here. It's okay. It won't dry for another little bit of time. I've got time to clean that up. Oh, hey, Bowie. Did you hear me talking about you? Oh, you need to go outside? Okay, you can go outside, buddy. Alright, Bowie's outside with his buddy Bob. And I have a feeling they might bust back in through the doors. There's the door now. There's Bob. Let's see where Bowie is. Come back in here, you. Hi, Bob. Go lay down on the couch. Why don't you just chill out? Let Daddy get his work done. Hi, Bob. It's in deep focus there for a second. I almost forgot you guys were here. What you up to, Bob? Come here, bud. Come here, buddy. What you up to? How are you doing? Checking things out? All right, 2 to go. Final flower for the day. I think I'll be doing my smaller ones on my own because I know this video is taking a lot longer than I was expecting. And I haven't talked much either, so I'm not sure if this live will go up. I do plan on cutting it down. The videos, I know they're long, and probably shorter versions of what I'm doing can be pretty good as well, so I plan on cutting the videos down as usual. It just takes some time to get to that. When I'm not painting, I try to get some of that done as well. I will try to get that done as well over the weekend. Hopefully I have a bunch of shorts to drop, I guess they call it. All right. Let's see here. Alrighty then. Well, I want to thank you again for joining me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Next time I come back, I will either have had the stems drawn out, or I'll do that in front of you. And at that point, it'll be really close to being finished. I'm also going to accentuate the inside edges of all of these flowers. And at that point, it'll be ready to be signed. So I just want to thank you again for joining me today. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.